This video will show you how to generate a random question, printable exam with the QBgenerator Part-66 exam management software. It will also show you how to pre-configure the software so the exam will output in the configuration just how you want it, and it will show you how to input the examinee's responses to exam questions and store the exam data. Go ahead and choose the database and log in with your usual username and password. Note that any administrator level 1, 2, or 3 can generate an exam. However, you must be a level 1 administrator to edit the system settings. We will use the basic training demonstration database. If you have a type training database, the procedure is the same. However, you can substitute the words, types, and A-tier chapters, where we will use modules and subsections, in this demo. We will generate a Module 2, Physics exam in this demonstration. The first thing to do is to check that the examinees that you want to examine are currently subscribed to the module. If they are not subscribed, as you see here is the case, then you must subscribe them as follows. Click the menu item, People, then Examinees. Choose any examinee in the class that you want to examine. In our case it is Class of 2021. Click the Subscription tab, then click Add New Subscription for the module to which you want to subscribe the examinee. In the pop-up window, set the end date for the subscription. This should be any date after the exam, but you can set it anywhere in the near or far future if you want to keep the subscription open, perhaps to cover a resit exam. You can use the pop-up calendar, or you can use one of the preset durations. Click the box, Subscribe the entire class of 2021, if you want to include everyone else in that same class. You can later selectively deselect individual class members if you want to exclude one or more examinees from the exam. Return to the home page and you will see the class of examinees now have an active subscription to the module. Click any of the names and remove a particular examinee subscription if you do not want them to be included in this exam. Next, we will see how to adjust the settings such that the exam will output just how we want it. Click the menu item, Settings. The settings are in 3 distinct sections: Exam General Settings, Printed Exam Settings, and E-Exam Settings. We will ignore the E-Exam settings in this demo, because we are generating a printed exam. Let's look at the Exam General Settings first. These settings will affect both printed exams and the e-exams. Choose whether you want the QBgenerator to choose from all questions, or from only the approved questions. Choose whether you want the QBgenerator to choose questions only at the specified question level, 1, 2, or 3, this is the exclusive setting. Or choose inclusive if you want the QBgenerator to choose also some questions at lower levels than the level specified, if they are available in the question database. The exclusive setting is normal for basic training exams, the inclusive setting is normal for type training exams. Adjust the pass mark, in %, if necessary. You can use the scroll wheel or type the value directly into the window. The Part 66 regulation specifies a pass mark of 75%. Adjust the seconds per question, if necessary. You can use the scroll wheel or type the value directly into the window. The Part 66 regulation specifies 75 seconds for basic training exams and 90 seconds for type training exams. This will let the QBgenerator calculate the total time allowed for the exam. Set the question hibernation on or off. This will set aside your specified percentage of questions and exclude them from the next exam in this same module. This ensures that any resit has a minimum percentage of different questions. You can also set the wildcard labels. For example, type the word location in the window. Then when we generate the exam, we will be asked to enter the location of the exam. You can have 1 or 2 such additional exam parameters. Leave one or both of the windows empty or blank to switch one or both of them off. Do not forget to click Save Changes if you have made any changes to the exam general settings. Next, we will adjust the printed exam settings. These settings will affect only the printed exams. E-exams are not affected by these settings. Choose how you want the examinee's printed answer sheet. A, B, and C, inside circles or squares. Choose whether you want to show the subsection names on the exam. Questions will be grouped in their respective subsections in any case, but you can select to show the subsection name at the start of each subsection set of questions. Do the same for question levels 1, 2, and 3. You can show or hide this on the printed exam paper. You can adjust the page size, that is its height and width, and text size. This is covered in another video. Please see the video, Adjusting Paper Size for Printed Exams. You can also edit the printed exam title page text and formatting. This is also covered in another video. Please see the video, Editing Printed Exam Title Page Text. Do not forget to click Save Changes if you have made any changes to the printed exam settings. With the software settings now configured as we want it, we can proceed to generate the Module 2 Physics exam. Click the button, Generate Exam. All modules are now listed. If there are any modules for which you do not have access, you must be subscribed access to those modules in your admin profile. Only a Level 1 administrator can provide you with this access. Choose the module in which you want to generate the exam. Now we see the exam configuration page. Select the class that you want to examine. Set the date and time of the exam. The break time is applicable only to E-exams. On the right side, you see two columns. The left column shows the questions that are available in the question database for each subsection. Any numbers in parentheses shows the number of questions that are currently hibernating. These are not available for this exam. They will become available again in the next exam you generate in this module. This applies only if you have the hibernation system switched on, in the settings panel. The right column shows the number of questions that will be chosen for this exam within each subsection. If any figures are shown in red, it means that there are not enough questions in the question database to generate the exam. These numbers are presets only. You can configure them globally in the settings. See the video, Configuring Modules and Subsections for details. Select the license category for the exam. When you change the license category, you may see the numbers of questions change in these columns, as different license categories call for different question levels and question quantities. You can override the question numbers here locally, if you want to change the question quantity configuration. Keep an eye on Total This Exam field, and the required Total field. The content of the Total This Exam field automatically updates when you change any of the question quantities. These two figures should be equal if you are generating a Part 66 official exam. However, the QBgenerator will not enforce this, so you can generate a custom exam if you want. You can even set some subsections to 0 if you do not want to include all of the subsections on this occasion. When you are happy with the exam configuration, click Save Settings and Generate Exam. The exam has now been generated, but it is not yet saved. You can make amendments to it if you want. You have a choice to save the exam as an e-exam, or as a printable exam. Click Exam Paper to preview the exam. You can see the questions that have been randomly selected from the question database. You can see how they are formatted with the title page, page headers, and the optional subsection numbers and subsection names and question levels. Click Print on your browser to preview how the exam will look when printed to paper. However, do not print it yet, because the exam is not yet saved, and therefore it does not yet have an exam reference number. Close the print preview screen. If you click the button Review Repository, you can check for any questions you do not want in the exam. For example, you can check for any incompatible questions, perhaps where one question offers an answer to another question. In the repository pop-up screen, you can delete any questions, and if you want, you can click Add Questions to manually choose another question to replace any you have deleted. Any new questions added will slot into their respective subsection group. When you are done amending the exam, you can click the X to close the repository pop-up. Any changes you made will be saved. We will save this exam as a printable exam.
Click OK to confirm.
Now the exam is saved. An exam reference number is generated for it. The reference number shows the class for whom the exam is generated, the module, the license category, the date and time of the exam, and the number of questions included. Now you can proceed to print the exam. Click the Print Exam icon. Use your browser's print function to preview the exam and print it to paper. You may also print a PDF version in case you want to keep an electronic archive of it. You may also print other outputs. These are the answer sheet. There is the same number of questions as there are in the exam paper. It also has the exam reference number already printed on it. An alternative answer sheet has the examinees' names already typed in their name box for each examinee. You can also print the examiner's exam paper, although this is not always necessary. This has the correct answers and any notes or references associated with each question, already printed on the paper. The examiner's answer sheet has the correct answers marked. You can print this as a guide to enable you to mark the examinees' answer sheets after they have completed the exam. The attendance sheet is very useful. It shows you which examinee should be attending the exam. Each attendee's photo is shown on the attendance sheet, if they have a photo uploaded to their respective profile. This helps the exam administrator ensure that the correct examinee is taking the exam. You can print the attendance sheet, so each examinee can sign it, to confirm their attendance, and the invigilator can also sign it. As this is a printed paper exam, the administration of the exam can now proceed in the exam room. We return to the QBgenerator after all the examinees have completed the exam and the examiner has marked each examinee's answer paper. We will now see how to enter the examinee's question responses into the computer. From the top menu, select the exams item. Each previously generated exam is listed with the most recent exam at the top of the list. Click this exam. The first page is the basic information for the exam. It shows the module, the class, the date and time of the exam, and other basic information. It shows the question quantities and the subsections to which they are allocated. The next tab shows the question details. Here you can exclude any questions from the exam, or alternatively, you can accredit everyone with a correct response for any question. You may want to do either of these if the experience of the exam has shown that there is one or more questions which are not valid. You can enter in the notes box any explanation why you have excluded or accredited any question or questions. Of course, you will want to amend the affected question so it is not used in any future exam in the same format. To help you do this, the question references are hyperlinks which will take you direct to the question edit page for that respective question. See our other video, Editing Questions, for more information. The page also shows you some statistics for how the examinees have answered the questions. These are called Local Facility Index, or FI. They will update after the results have been entered. For example, a local facility index of 75% means that 3/4 of the class got the answer correct. A local facility index of less than 50% would normally trigger an investigation as to why the response was so low. The next tab, Examinee Attendance, shows you which examinees were in attendance. All are ticked by default. If you untick one or more, the examinee will be recorded as absent from this exam. The column marked Logged in is used for e-exams only. It shows which examinees are still logged in at their terminal. The next tab, Results per Question, is where we will enter the examinee's responses for each question. The examinees are shown numbered across the top. Hover the mouse over the number to display the examinee's name. You can also untick them here to mark them as absent if necessary. To speed up the results entry, simply type the letter C into any of the input fields. This will mark all the questions with a 1, meaning correct, for that examinee. Then you can overtype with a 0 on any questions they got incorrect. Repeat this for each examinee. If any examinee was absent from the exam, you can type letter A into any of their answer fields. This will mark them as absent. An alternative results entry method is to type the letter X into any answer field. This will automatically enter a 0 for all questions. Then overwrite any questions they got correct, with a 1. When done, click the Submit button. This enters the results. Click back, and you will return to the same screen, but now all the results are entered. You now have a chance to review the results, and make amendments if necessary. Perhaps the examinee's results are marked by an independent examiner, in which case you can amend any discrepancies found by the independent examiner. There is an Import Results panel. You can use this optional function with very large exams and/or very large class sizes. It uses a third-party software, called RemarkOffice. RemarkOffice lets you scan the answer sheets with a scanner, and will automatically mark the answer sheets and output a file. The file can be used to automatically populate the answer fields. See the RemarkOffice website for more details. When done, you can click the Resubmit button. This will save any amendments to the results and will let you make further amendments if necessary. Alternatively, you can click the Close button. This will save the results and will not allow any further amendment of the results. Click back, and the results are now saved in the database. The next tab is the Results per Examinee. This is just a summary of the results now stored in the database. The next tab is the Examinee Certificates. For the examinees who have passed this exam, you can generate a certificate of recognition. The certificate of recognition is automatically filled with the successful examinee's details and outputs as a Microsoft Word file. See our other video, Configuring and Generating Certificates of Recognition. For those examinees who were not successful in this exam, you can click the Knowledge Deficiency Report icon. The Knowledge Deficiency Report opens in a pop-up. The deficiency report shows exactly where the examinee was deficient in their knowledge of the syllabus subjects. It shows this by indicating the number and percentage of questions in each subsection that were answered correctly. It does not show the actual questions that the examinee answered correctly nor incorrectly. You can copy and paste the Knowledge Deficiency Report to an email, or a headed letter, and send it to the respective examinee. The examinee will find this information very useful when they revise for the resit exam. Click the X to close the Knowledge Deficiency Report. At any time in the future, you can always return to this exam, to the Basic Information page or any other tab, for information. You can click the Printouts button, and access all the exam output pages. They are stored as archive. This concludes the video on generating a printable exam.